Hey y'all, I'm back. And today we do our first art project and I am using the loaner pile. Just to recap, I purchased a bag from Goodwill for $4 full of art supplies, separated them, and found some real gems among them, including Prismacolor, Liquitex Basic, and Faber-Castell colored pencils. Now, as I separated it, I know some of it is trash, but why don't we draw with all of it and you get to see how good or bad all of them are. As I create treasure or trash, we will see. Some of it's going to be interesting. So these first set, it's going to take a bit to explain them. So let's start. I wanted to start with the loaner pile for 3 reasons. First, it contains an actual pencil, which will mean I can do a real sketch instead of the other products where I have to trust my artistic choices. I can also talk about a few of the products instead of just being stuck with one. First off, we have the standard Crayola colored pencils. There were 2 in this bag. They were red and white, which means they could easily come from the 12-pack. As of November 2023, you can get them for $2 at Target. That's 17 cents a pencil, 34 cents for both. I'll get into Crayola later with the marker collection. What I'll say in this video is Crayola was started in 1885 as a consumer paint company, painting red barns and creating pigment to make tires black. Next up, we have a single magenta Roseart pencil. As of November 2023, a 12-pack of Roseart colored pencils goes for $9.24 at Walmart. That is 77 cents per pencil. Now, who would guess that Roseart would actually cost more than Crayola? Not I. Roseart was started by Isidore Rosen in 1923 as Rosebud Art Company. In the 1970s, the company was rebranded as Roseart. Since then, it has been owned by multiple companies from Mega Bloks and even Crazy Art. Robert Brown, in an Art LTG review, described Roseart colored pencils as being creamier than Crayola, which is why it might cost more. So I'm actually looking forward to that. And he did suggest their pigmentation wasn't great though. I also have 3 liquimark pencils. Liquimark was a brand I hadn't heard of before. As of November 2023, Liquimark sells on Blick for $2.89. That's 24 cents per pencil, and I have 3, so 72 cents. Because I couldn't place the brand, I had first put the Liquimark pencils in my nice stash. Then I looked at the cost and put them with the potential trash. Then I read the reviews. These are watercolor pencils. I've used watercolor pencils before. I have a 122 pencil collection. Never have I seen watercolor pencils so inexpensive. So of everything I'm using today, I am the most excited about these 3 pencils. I also have 2 rando pencils with any identifications, probably part of some cheap art set where they included coloring pages that were worth more than the pencils, so I'll just give them 1 cent value. And I also have a random crown, 1 cent. And finally, 2 graphite pencils. One is a coloration number 2 pencil. They can be found on teacher resource supply pages and go for $4 for a box of 12. That's 33 cents a pencil. The other pencil is a Donald Trump presidential pencil. The Donald Trump presidential pencil, probably half of you are excited and half of you want me to light it on fire. Me? I am here for this. When it comes to pencils, I have an Arlington pencil back from August of 2001 that I refuse to use. And when it comes to presidents, well, I've got that too. The thing is, I like history. It's a nice historical glimpse. That's what I get from a little piece like that. Don't know if it was given away or if the original owner purchased it. 1 cent. That puts today's art project at $2.17, and I paid 11 cents. I'll be honest, the reason that I wanted to start with the loaner pile was less about how good or bad the material was, but knowing I was starting with something, I wanted to start with something a little bit easier. I wanted to be able to sketch out what I was doing before I started, and I'm only using the materials for each set, and except for one set, none of them come with pencils. So I wanted to make sure that I could at least have a good start to this. Now, you might notice that that black is much more pigmented than it was in my test. That's because I'm dipping it in water. When you dip it in water, it's going to be darker. So if you ever buy liquimark colored pencils, just do that to get the strong pigmentation. My crayon had a lot of strong color too. It also broke about here. Once again, that black looks so good because I had to keep dipping it in water. Just a bit of honesty here. I went ahead and drew everything first. So I'm coming to you after the fact that I've done every last piece of art already. That black was the best black. Also, I hate this blue and this green. I hate it. So much so that I didn't want to go over it anymore, nor was it very helpful. These two non-named colored pencils are some of the worst colored pencils I used the entire time. They're not vibrant. They don't layer, even on themselves. Considering I ended with these two colored pencils, I was just ready to be done with this project. And there you have it. My very first art project with the Goodwill haul. When I showed this to my husband, he said, why didn't you do this in October? Because this is terrifying. And, you know, it is a pretty terrifying clown. I'm pretty darn impressed with this considering what I had to use to make it happen. But next week, we're going into the world of crazy art. I'll see you then.